Hi everyone, it's Joe here from Lawn Solutions Australia, and welcome to this episode of Turf Talk, where we're very fortunate to have another international guest in the studio all the way from Georgia in the southeastern United States. It's Shelley Fincher. Now, Shelley is the Senior Licensing Manager at the University of Georgia, very important job. Welcome, Shelley.
Thank you.
Now, you're fresh in the country, flew in yesterday, it's a long way.
It is.
How are we feeling?
Much better. Yeah. I know where I am today.
It always helps, doesn't
Yes,
it?
yeah.
It's a long journey. Is this your first time in Australia?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a beautiful country.
And you've only had a short drive from Sydney down to our lovely office here in Berry. What are your thoughts so far about Australia?
Oh, it's beautiful. It's, I can't wait to get into the water,
Yep.
but maybe just ankle deep.
Yes.
I've heard about your sharks and other kind of larger than life things that could kill you.
It's not as bad as what you hear, so
All
just keep
right.
that in the back of your head as
Okay.
you're treading into murky waters. But the University of Georgia is your employer, and people listening to this podcast would be quite familiar. We've had Dr. Brian Schwartz on this podcast a couple of times before, but people will hear the name the University of Georgia a lot in the Australian turfgrass industry now because of you're the university that has bred and licensed Tiff Tuff and Zoysia australis, which are two wonderful grasses which our guys sell here in Australia. Now, can you tell us a little bit about what a senior licensing manager does within the University of Georgia and how we're connected to you?
Okay, that's a good question. I started working at the University of Georgia in 2008. Dr. Brian Schwartz joined in 2009. So I've been there working on his turfgrass cultivars. And when I say working on what he develops, he does all the developing. I just patent and license anything that makes it out of his program. So I don't just work on turfgrass, but for the purpose of this podcast, I'll focus on turfgrass.
Yep.
I am I am the one who puts together testing agreements. So if Dr. Schwartz wants to have someone in Florida test his varieties, we would put in a material transfer agreement.
Yep, restricted testing agreements,
Yes,
similar to what we have here.
Yeah. So just protect the IP rights. So
Sure.
just in case that's the big winner at the end of the day, we can still protect the IP rights.
And your background, you're obviously in law. Is that
No, I have two agriculture degrees from Texas A&M
Okay,
University,
right, yep.
agronomy and plant physiology. I went to work for Pioneer Hybrid out of college doing corn research.
Okay.
And then went down to Georgia and started working in licensing.
Right, there you go. So licensing is something you've learnt after having a background in plant.
Yes, science is harder to teach someone
Yeah.
to do this job. You can learn somewhat the legal components and the business components, but it's really hard to make a licensing manager for someone that doesn't understand the technology.
That doesn't understand what they're actually licensing.
Yes, because that affects everything you do. That affects how you commercialize it, what value you put on it. So, yeah.
Interesting. And the University of Georgia, obviously, if you're a turf nerd in Australia, you'll understand the connection there. But tell us a little bit about the university itself, because it's an old university. Is it America's oldest, is it?
They claim to be the oldest. I think there's a dispute with someone else, but
Okay.
we
Something to fight
overlook
about.
that.
Yeah.
So we're the oldest public university. We have 3 campuses. The main campus is in Athens. That's where I'm located. We have a campus in Middle Georgia, and that's the Griffin campus. We have turfgrass breeding there, focused on seashore paspalum. We have a new turfgrass breeder that's working on seeded turfgrass.
Okay.
So that we're very excited about that program. And then the Tifton campus, which is southern Georgia. So hot, lots of disease pressure, insects, it's just a perfect place to breed turfgrass because everything that could go wrong would go wrong in Tifton. So if you have a turfgrass variety that does well there, you know it's tough, it can take anything you throw at it.
So would Tifton be the main turfgrass breeding campus at UGA?
I guess so. It has the longest history.
That's where the TIFF name comes
yes,
from.
TIFF. Yeah. Anytime you see TIFF on a variety name, that means it was bred in Tifton, Georgia, at our southern campus. I don't know if your hearers or your folks that were listening here would recognize the name Glenn Burton, but he was a famous researcher from USDA on the Tifton campus. He developed TIFF Way.
TIFF Way, for those listening, is the wintergreen equivalent probably in the US. It's been the industry standard for 50 plus years.
Oh, yeah.
In couchgrass,
Right. So he started the turfgrass program. Then Wayne Hanna, who was a USDA employee, took it over, and then he became a UGA employee. Didn't change campuses or anything. It was still right there at Tifton. And then Brian Schwartz took over for Wayne Hanna. So it has the longest history. I would claim Tifton as the warm season turfgrass breeding capital of the world.
Okay, cool.
And I would fight anyone else who wants to argue about
I like that. Yeah.
Our Seashore Paspalum breeding program's very strong also. It's just a more of a niche grass. It's good for poor water quality on the coast. So it just that has a strong history too. It's just they're not quite as well known as the Tifton campus.
So your Seashore Paspalum program, your Bermuda program's obviously huge. Zoysia grass is probably the third one you'd say?
Yes, zoysia grass. There was no breeding of zoysia grass at UGA until Brian Schwartz came. And he had experience, I believe, from his training at the University of Florida with that. And we got a germplasm collection, and he's been breeding zoysia from as soon as we got that collection. So that now that's probably number 2 or 3 of our most prominent grasses developed there.
So you mentioned before we'll stick with turfgrass as the primary subject today, obviously, but there's a much wider breadth to what you do other than just turfgrass. So you sit in the, what do you call it before, the plant or the agricultural space,
yes.
I guess you'd say.
Yes.
Outside of turfgrass, what are some of the other things that you're involved with licensing?
I license soybeans and forage crops like tall fescue or orchard grass, alfalfa. I license cotton cultivars. And then I do biotechnology inventions in the ag space.
Yep.
So that was some of my training and work experience at Pioneer Hybrid was in biotechnology and transformation, gene editing.
And there's a lot of similarities. Let's take soybeans or peanuts are another big one as well. There's a lot of similarities between that and turfgrass, right? So it's the same process. The breeder breeds, and then you license to growers. Is it a similar sort of thing to turfgrass?
It is. The breeding process tends to be longer for turfgrass, at least at UGA, maybe not at other universities where they release.
Because you do a diligent, good, job.
We test it.
Yeah.
Everywhere it can be tested.
Yeah.
But for an annual crop like soybeans or cotton, that breeding process is about 7 to 10 years. And those cultivars usually stay on the market maybe 3 to 10 years before a new cultivar replaces.
It's a much shorter cycle than turfgrass.
Right. So there's less upfront costs to get involved with those crops. So if we're licensing a new turfgrass cultivar, we have to keep in mind that we require a weed-free surface. There's a lot of prep work done for a perennial crop in turfgrass.
Yep.
We keep that in mind as far as license financials. Annual minimum royalties are similar. Maybe for agronomic crops, it would be a limited term because we know they don't have as long a lifespan.
So the breeding takes longer for turfgrass, but they generally don't swap cultivars as readily or as quickly or as regularly as what.
Yeah, in the U.S. at least.
Yeah.
We get a lot of pushback from growers, turf growers, if they've spent millions of dollars to get a field ready and production and all the certification requirements we put on our growers, that if we were to release a almost the same as cultivar, that's not going to make anyone happy. And it's actually going to lose money for our licensees, which is a consideration.
Yeah, no, it's the same here. We're very conscious of bringing out grasses that are, environmentally and economically different significantly to what's existing on the market. And I think it's the same here with turfgrass. That everything takes a little longer, but lasts a little longer too on the other end. But with our other crops, they tend to turn them over quite quickly because they're obviously easier and quicker to breed, and they don't last as long in the marketplace. So, outside of agriculture, obviously the university has scientific departments across, all aspects. What are some other sort of key areas, UGA or UGAF, which is the research division of UGA? What other areas do they focus on?
We have research in human health, animal health. We have research tools that our scientists develop in their labs, and we license those to other non-UGA researchers to make their lives easier. There's software and copyright technologies.
So before, we were talking prior to this podcast about some of the work UGA does, and you read a couple of stats out. Was it over 1,200 products? 1,200
products that our licensing office has licensed to industry over the life of our office, which started in at least the 1990s.
Okay.
And our products were sold. So we don't count things are just licensed.
Yeah.
There had to be sales of those products in the marketplace.
So they're products or they're inventions of UGA research staff that have been sold to end users.
Yes.
Over 1,200 of them.
Yes. Yeah. That's really the gold standard for our office is making solutions available to the public.
Yeah. So whether it's human health, whether it's animal health, whether it's new plant products, whether it's software, your success is measured by how many solutions in the marketplace get solved by UGA inventions.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Some of them may not make very much money, but it provides a service to the taxpayers of the state and beyond. We have a team of licensing managers. So we have 3 teams based on educational and experience background. So I'm on the plant science team along with one other. We have a physical sciences and engineering team. So if there's a new invention from a researcher in the engineering space, that disclosure would go to this individual.
Who has a background in engineering. Similar
engineering.
To yeah,
because I would have to do a lot of study.
No, that shocked me a little. So I would always figure, I like the way the university's gone about this. They haven't got legal backgrounds and tried to teach them about their particular expertise. They've found people with breeding backgrounds or research backgrounds and shown them how to draw the legal stuff up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So we have a team of life science managers, and they review animal health, human health. Sometimes, there's miscellaneous stuff that just gets distributed to someone who either we can hire external contractors to help us with the technical knowledge that we need, or most folks, you don't have to know all the nitty-gritty details. You kind of have to know the higher level points that are relevant.
And you've got, like we just spoke about with the plant health, the human health, the software side of things, you've got a number of different departments. Where does turfgrass or ag sort of stack up in amongst those departments?
Oh, that's a good question. They're in the College of Agriculture. The two big invention or cultivar developing departments are crop and soil science, which houses turfgrass research, and then horticulture. Those primarily with cultivars, I think it's 90+% in those colleges are the ones that generate revenue.
Yeah. So turfgrass it's a significant product for the university.
It's only behind peanuts in producing revenue, and peanuts are grown on a huge acreage in Georgia and across the country.
Yeah.
So, you're getting a volume
more acres than turfgrass.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, very much more.
Wow.
Yeah.
So people understand the process a little clearer. So the money that, gets generated for the universities in a form of a royalty, where the producers pay that royalty in order to access these wonderful new products. But that royalty gets reinvested into producing new inventions, essentially, doesn't it?
Yes. A portion of those royalties go to the research program of the plant breeder who developed that particular cultivar. It also a portion goes to the department that houses that inventor. A portion goes to the plant breeder as personal income.
The inventor themselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if there's a team of inventors, they split that percentage.
So Australian turf consumers, by purchasing Tiff Tough, there's a lot of hoops to jump through till it gets there, but it's actually making an investment in the future of turfgrass in a way too, because you breed grasses for today, and we mentioned before that these grasses have a long lifespan in the marketplace, which is fantastic, but you don't rest on your laurels, do you? You're always looking for something new, something that's going to make a difference to the end user.
Absolutely. And in looking at Brian Schwartz's breeding program, he points out varieties or experimental lines that are better than are what on the market now. So, just know that there are better, newer things in the horizon, and the royalty goes a long way toward funding all the research expenses that go into developing those new products.
It's a good system you have there in America, and we obviously envy it here in Australia. We don't have a system similar to that, so we rely on you guys, obviously, which gives us great opportunities to connect with international guests. And if you want to learn more about these research programs, we've done episodes with Dr. Schwartz, but also with Dr. Chandra from Texas A&M.
Yes.
You're an alumni of Texas A&M, which
yes,
I've just learnt just now. So check those out and you'll get a lot more information. But there's got to be a sense of pride, I think. Again, you showed us before some of the examples of where products that you've licensed have ended up. So World Cup stadiums, Olympic stadiums.
Olympics,
UGA rival stadiums, which you learnt too at the Swamp for the University of Florida.
Yes, the Swamp at the University of Florida. They put Tiff Tough on their stadium field. And we spoke with the manager of the field, and he just loves Tiff Tough. It's so vigorous. He cut a circle out of the field there and showed us the extensive root system. He just was our biggest advocate.
It's got to be a little dagger secretly to him, though,
I know. I almost feel bad for him. To say that quietly. You're at a competing university.
Yeah. So with the university, obviously the athletics department is the big one. Is it? Oh, I'd say obviously. I presume that's the case with the University of Georgia. What kind of numbers are we getting? There's going to be a lot of people listening to this that watch Australian sport and they watch their professional team play, and 8,000 people walk through the front gate for a professional game. What's a football Dogs, like a University of Georgia Dogs game? What's a local football game bring crowd-wise?
Between 90 and 100,000 for a single game.
Just a regular season college ball game. It's wild.
Yeah. And we're often on TV for those. we went through some lean years where not many games were won, but we're in the top 5 again this year. So
to paint a picture for you and for our viewers, we have a sport called rugby league over here, which you may or may not be familiar with, and it along with AFL are our national sports, and we have a contest between New South Wales and Queensland. That's probably the equivalent of UGA versus, I don't know, Alabama. I don't know.
That's big.
It's a heavy rivalry. There's only 3 games a year, and we sort of get 60 to 80,000 depending on the stadium, and it is like people. It's their thing. So to have 90 to 100 turn up week in, week out is incredible. And I assume that the Dogs go okay. They win games. They
win a lot of games. Yeah. We've got a great coach, and he makes a lot of money.
If the quarterback walked through your office, everyone would stop and look. Is that sort of how it works?
Yeah. He's a celebrity. Yeah. This is big time.
It's kind of like you when you walk into the Turfgrass.
Oh, yeah. I would hope not.
Yeah, but he's a celebrity.
He's a celebrity. Yeah, everyone knows the stars on the football team, and But don't think that UGA is just an athletic university. They have really tightened up the requirements for even getting into the University of Georgia.
Right. Okay.
You have to have almost a perfect GPA to get in as a freshman.
Okay.
Unbelievable. Yeah. So I don't think I could have gotten into UGA as a freshman.
I'm sure
it's really tough. While we may be known for our athletics, it's a pretty strong academic university.
No, you can tell by what you showed us before with the breadth of research that happens at UGA. Now, you licensed 2 turfgrasses to Australia, being Tiff Tough Hybrid Bermuda and one that's slightly newer being Zoysia australis. Now, what has been your, although it's, I wouldn't say it's limited, you know quite a bit about our industry now, you've sort of dealt with it for a couple of years. What is your take on the Australian turf industry? Bigger, small in your thoughts? Sort of what was your initial findings when you've seen, what we're producing here?
What most I've seen in the U.S. are huge super farms. They're not getting smaller, they're getting bigger.
Yeah.
Although I haven't been to the farms for the most part here yet. From what I understand, they're smaller. They're focused, quality over quantity. And the price point might be a little higher. Yep. So maybe your producers are making a little bit more money than our super farmers in this state. So that's really good. And
the choice of turfgrass, right? So you see Zoysia australis here, which is licensed but only limitedly in the US?
It is not licensed. Okay, the only place that you can get it now is Australia.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
you have we are.
There you go.
Yeah, but the grasses that you see mostly in the US, Tiff Tough, obviously, that's a big one?
That's a huge one. Yeah. It's overtaken our historical varieties from Tifton. You might have heard, Tiff Eagle, Tiff Sport, Tiff Grand. Tiff Tough now makes more money than all of those.
So it sells more than all those.
Yes. It's huge sales.
Yeah.
I think the data I've seen is more than 2 billion square feet have been sold.
Don't make me convert that, but it sounds like a lot.
No, check the website. I think that's correct. 2 billion. Once you get in the billions, hopefully that's correct.
It sounds about right. Mick's doing the conversion for us now, so we'll be able to show actually how much that is. It's a lot. It's, what is that? 1, 2, 3. That's like 185 million square meters. Wow, that's an incredible amount of turfgrass that's gone out the door.
Right.
I get that right? You don't even know. So, and you mentioned Seashore Paspalum before. Now, that's not a big grass at all in Australia. We had Sea Isle and a few other ones over the years that have come and gone from the marketplace. Is it a big thing in the US, is it?
It's not. It's a niche grass that primarily Florida is the market for that in the US. Or anywhere that the water quality is not quite great. It can take saline water and not suffer like other grasses would.
Yeah, sure. And Do you do any work with St. Augustine's? Yeah, do you license any St. Augustine's? They're not a big grass for you, right?
No, we don't breed that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have centipede grass.
Okay, yeah. We've heard Brian talk about centipede grass a bit. Is that a big one for you? Or?
We had Tiff Blair.
Yes.
From Dr. Hannah, and that was a huge moneymaker for us. Very, very successful. It's still very good.
Yeah.
We do have a replacement for that called Tiff Elite. We haven't made any sales yet, but that's
coming.
That's going. And then Brian has some outstanding looking centipede grass in his program that looks to have huge seed production potential.
Because you can sell that as sod and as seed.
Yes,
so it's just a grass we're so unfamiliar with here in Australia. And a lot of the times, like when Brian comes out here, he kind of goes, well, you don't have centipede grass, and it's just not a thing here. We're too busy mucking around with kikuyu and other things to worry about centipede. But what that's done for us today, Shelley, it's given us a great overview into the depth of work done by an institution like the University of Georgia, because to be perfectly honest, I reckon 90% of people listening to this go, oh, University of Georgia, oh, that's their football, that's it. They think sports straight away, but universities have so much more going on, and they're so important in so many industries, but in particular, let's talk turfgrass, let's talk agriculture. There's so many things that are invented by UGA that have played such a pivotal role in the Australian landscape. I mean, look what Tiff Tuff's doing, look what even Tiff Sport's done in the past. Tiff Eagle is a massive one for golf courses in Australia, and people, putt on it every day of their lives, but probably don't understand the connection and how that stuff actually works. So I appreciate you coming on and sharing that connection, and you're obviously a very important part of that.
Thank you.
Great. And next time we'll give you more than a day's rest off the plane to bring on the podcast. But you've done very well under some severe jet lag conditions. So if anyone wants to check out some of the stuff that Shelley's spoken about today, you can listen to our previous episodes with Dr. Brian Schwartz to kind of help connect the licensing to the breeding picture, or you can jump on the UGA website and you can see what they do and a few of their other products and industries. But again, thanks for coming on. It's much appreciated.
All right. Thank you.